historical sex assault that was reported to us in 1998. And it's a file that we've worked on over the years and more intensely since 2009. This file, recently we made some breaks in this file, and it culminated in an arrest yesterday in Quebec, where we arrested a 66-year-old man. And the biggest point that we want to make about this is that regardless of the historical nature of sex assaults, we will keep on digging until we're able to ideally hold someone accountable for these offenses. And we do that through a variety of different ways. And as much as I can't give all that much detail about the specifics of the file, because as one of the goals of this sharing with you today is about survivor care and taking care, making sure that the process doesn't further traumatize a victim. And so we've been working with this file as we do many historical files, and it often takes an awful lot of evidence and corroboration to help these files actually get to Crown Counsel and charges approved. And in this instance, we were able to do so, and with the cooperation of the Women's Sexual Assault Center and forensic nurse examiners, we're often able to gather the evidence we need to charge people who commit these kind of offenses. I could just go into our mandate a little bit and then talk to you.
Sure.
Yeah. The Special Victims Unit has a mandate to investigate all sex offenses in Victoria and Esquimalt, and that's including sex assaults, child abuse, sexual abuse of children, and internet child exploitation. So it's a very wide mandate and keeps our section extremely busy, especially with the evolving of the internet. What makes it so gratifying to do this work, as challenging as it is working with the survivors, the victims of these files, and we know that when we do hold someone accountable for this type of offense, that has been very worthwhile. And working with, again, our colleagues with the Sex Assault Center and the forensic nurse examiners makes this whole process ideally more supportive and safe for the victims and survivors involved.
In the time I've been in here, I've held several different positions. I've been on the crisis line, part of the sexual assault response team that I believe John will talk more about, as well as immediate crisis and long-term counseling, and I'm very privileged and happy to speak on behalf of how we engage in survivor care in our community. So we provide a continuum of services for self-identified women who are 13 years and over, who've experienced either recent or historical sexual assault or abuse. With that, I'd like to just sort of talk a little bit about what that means and how we work with members of the police and forensic nurse examiners who are here today. So we're available to provide information and support at any stage of process, whether the incident occurred several years ago or today. We'll respond to work with the survivor in order to determine what she needs from us and what she defines the care that she needs and the support that she needs. From our perspective, police can be involved or not involved. That is completely up to the survivor, and we will share as much information as we can on what that would look like if that is her decision. And as Detective Sergeant Wellen mentioned, the police here are focused on apprehending an offender. Our role in that is to work cooperatively with the police in order to be a resource and support throughout that process, that we're there with her through the entire way, so that she has somebody who can support her, that she can have with her, and provide as much information as possible for her as well. We also give support to family, friends, and partners who may be dealing with their own responses and who may also have questions about the processes and need some available resources as well. Today I would really like to emphasize that there's no wrong time to contact us. And the incident does not even have to have occurred in Victoria. We deal with files across Canada and sometimes internationally as well. We can have a survivor who may have contacted us 20 years ago and who hasn't contacted us since, and if that person wants to contact us today, we'd be more than happy to support you in whatever way you want. We also work very closely with other victim services agencies in town, our partner organizations, the Men's Trauma Center, Mary Manning, Transition House, and Police-Based Victim Services. We're really appreciative of the relationships we have with all of our partners and with the police, and we also work so collaboratively with them. And another important member of our team, the forensic nurse examiner.
Registered nurse that works for Vancouver Island Health Authority, and our forensic nurse examiner program is based out of the Victoria General Hospital Emergency Department. It is one of many programs that is, or services, similar services that are offered across the island in similar emergency departments. So our mandate in the Victoria program is essentially responding to reported cases of sexual assault, domestic violence, and child maltreatment. So it's a broader mandate than just sexual assault. And that's for cases that might occur in Greater Victoria and all surrounding areas. So our program is supported by a team of other registered nurses that have received specialized training with a particular focus around the sexual assault component as well as forensic evidence collection. So our services are available 24/7 and for anyone that's requiring that type of care, and access to our services are mostly accessed by women, but certainly we do have men and children that we see in our program as well. So when a person does arrive at the hospital, they're initially triaged by the admitting nurse in the emergency department. They will be screened certainly for any more immediate or life-threatening type injuries or anything. Our Victoria Women's Sexual Assault Centre contact person gets notified and come in, and they will often be the ones that initiate calling one of our nurses into the program. Certainly want to stress confidentiality and privacy is of utmost importance to us, and we take that under consideration. So once this forensic nurse examiner comes in, we meet with the patient, and as Tracy mentioned, the person has options in terms of the type of care they would receive. So they could have a very comprehensive medical examination completed that may or may not include a pelvic examination. And then in addition to that, we can also collect forensic evidence as part of that examination. So depending on the circumstances of the reported assault, the forensic nurse may initiate tests, blood work, that sort of thing, and also may initiate treatment for potential risk to exposure to sexually transmitted infections or concerns around pregnancy, that sort of thing. Persons reporting can also have the option at that time to report immediately to police, and then we connect in with our partners, and or they can delay reporting and we can still proceed with forensic evidence collection and hang on to that, or they can choose not to report at that time at all. Our documentation would support whatever direction they take, and we support the person in the choices that they make at the time they come to emergency. So when that person's ready for discharge, certainly part of our partnership is putting that plan in place to ensure that they can safely leave the emergency department and return to home or to another facility, depending on the circumstances. So.
We decide to come to the media and share how our sexual assault investigations are going, and you know it's our big priority is again survivor care, and when someone's been victim of such a terrible crime, we want to make sure that we don't do anything else to traumatize them. And in this break of this 20-year-old file, we've really want to send that strong message to the criminals out there that we won't stop looking for you, that if someone comes and trusts us and decides to report to us, then we'll work with our colleagues to do our best to support a victim through such a process and do our best to hold someone accountable.